During my teenage years, I read constitutions. Yes, I did. I went online, into online archives. Sometimes I didn't even have to go into archives, but I read constitutions. The Constitution of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, the Constitution of the Autonomous Constituent of Aruba, and later also, I believe later of Curacao, but Curacao was much more later. I read the Constitution of the United States, I read the Constitution of the State of Florida. I read the Constitution of more US states, I forgot them, but I read them. I read the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Australia, the old one, and I also read some updates. I read the quote-unquote Constitution of New Zealand, which isn't really a constitution at all, but I read it. I read some royal decrees of the British Empire. I also read more constitutional documents. A constitution is an agreement collectively how a territory or a group of people is governed. That's what a constitution is. A constitution is not the enforced policy, because laws are codified policies. So, a policy, as I explained before, is when an institution enforces a strong agreement on the population. So, a policy is a project or a movement to enforce a strong agreement. Okay? And the institution can only survive as long as a strong agreement is validated. So you have institutions that enforce strong agreements on the population, and their projects or movements in enforcing these strong agreements are called policies, and the policies codified in a script, that's what we call laws. And then you have the judges, who are the black and white thinkers of the community that enforces these strong agreements. Black and white is duality, because worldly people operate in a dualistic way of thinking. That's why in the Western legal system, judges often wear white and black. That's to reflect the duality of the fallen mind of worldly people. So it's all a ritual with Apollo at the center. I explained it before. So okay, a constitution is just a context for the institutions. The institutions need to have a context, and a constitution gives the context in which the institutions can operate. For territories without the constitution, they have other agreements that give the context. For example, New Zealand has no constitution. The United Kingdom doesn't have a constitution. Does Israel have a constitution? The state of Israel has a constitution? I'm not sure about that, about Israel, but New Zealand and the United Kingdom are two kingdoms without a constitution. But I believe they have the Magna Carta or the Bill of Rights or other documents that give them a context. Now, why am I talking about constitutions in this video? Show me one constitution, whether it's of a federal state or of an independent state, or maybe the constitution of a supranational organization, for example, the EU, has the Lisbon Treaty, which is the covert constitution. They don't call it a constitution, but it's really how the EU institutions, let me say the Lisbon Treaty gives a context for the EU constitution, so it's really function as a constitution. Or maybe it's a constitution of some other supernatural organization. Give me any constitution where it's written that people have the right to will whatever they will. I challenge you, if you want to take the challenge, show me one constitution that contains free will written in it. Show it to me. You won't find free will in scripture. The people can will whatever they will. Because that's what a lot of people don't understand. Free will is a term that witches, warlocks, and those that belong to shadow government use. And you have an exoteric meaning. That's the meaning the common people think free will means. They think free will means your ability to choose. That's not what free will means. Let me explain what free will means. Free will consists of two parts, free and will. Okay? So a free will means a will without conditions. That means a will that cannot be challenged. A will that shouldn't be challenged because it's free. So if it's free from conditions, that means it's free from responsibilities, free from obligations. So nobody can challenge it because it's a free will. Which human being has a will like that? No one. First of all, we are conditional beings. Our bodies need food, water, and clothes for it to survive. So we can't will without clothes. That's self-destructive. So the human will is always bound to a context and conditions. So no human being has free will. Human beings have an ability to will things and to operate on that will, but no will of any human being is free. I hope you get that. Spirit beings from the heavens have no such thing as free will. They don't. So the whole concept of free will is a delusion. But it's a very popular delusion. But who loves this delusion the most? Narcissists do. Psychopaths do. Evildoers do. Okay, imagine the following scenario. Your daughter has been molested by some sick psycho. And he has molested over 40 other kids also. So you appear before the judge. You tell the judge, I want this man prosecuted because he's harming people all around. But then the judge tells you, sir, first of all, you need to call me your honor. Secondly, we can't do anything about it. And then you say, your honor, how can't you do anything about it? There's evidence here, he's guilty. But then the judge tells you, in the Constitution, in Article 15, paragraph 6, it's written that citizens of this country have a right to will whatever they will. So their will, it should not be challenged. So he has this will of putting his cock in your daughter, even though your daughter is only 7 years old. We just have to take it. You just have to take it. You're not allowed to challenge his will. He can will for free. No judge, nowhere in the world would tell you that. No, none of them would. Because no constitution contains free will. No constitution promotes this delusion that human beings can will whatever they will. Because in practice, this would lead to the annihilation of human safety. Yet, you have those Babylon churches who keep talking about free will. When bad things happen in a community, and people ask why do bad things happen, instead of telling people that bad things happen because people are not in line with Christ. Because if people are in line with Christ and they walk in His power, they will overcome evil with good. And evil is stopped. They won't tell you that. Now, because they don't want you to operate in the power of Christ. They will tell you, you know what, people have free will, so they have the right to choose to do evil. They have the right to hold on to evil. So we just have to find a way to deal with it. Even the Most High Himself needs to give in to the narcissistic will of those creatures. That's what Babylon Church tell you. Do those pagan courthouses tell you that? Because those courthouses of this world are pagan because it's centered around the beast. I explained before they wear black and white, duality. And they have those Greek terms, Greek Latin terms they use. So they're pagan. Those pagan courthouses, do they ever promote free will? No. Can you shoot someone because you couldn't stand someone, you want to take it out on someone, and then tell the judge, Your Honor, I have free will. I can will whatever I will. And now my will is I want to go on a holiday, have a good time, visit some prostitutes, and I want to be left alone. Please, judge, give me a deal so I can get rid of this. You think the judge is going to do that? He wouldn't. But yet, those Babylon churches tell you exactly that perpetrators have a right to will whatever they will. Let's go further. Babylon churches even tell you that if you have parents who will whatever they will, who are out of line, that you need to submit unto it and allow yourself to be destroyed. And they'll abuse scripture to validate that false teaching. So they condone child abuse or narcissistic abuse in general by misquoting scripture. And free will implies a will that cannot be challenged nor should be challenged. What if you shouldn't challenge people's wills? How would that look like in practice? So if you have a community that has frustrations, instead of dealing with their frustrations and examining their own wills, they decide to dump their frustration on someone else. Now, let's say you're an outsider, you enter the community and you sense that there's a family being targeted and the family has sickness or the psych attacks, all of that, and you tell the people in the community, you people can't do this. And then they turn on you and they're telling you, mind your own business. This is our lives, this is what we will, and you have to take it. Then you tell them you can't will with every will because we have a constitution here in the United States that guarantees the safety of its population. And then there's a lawyer that tells you, no, it doesn't. You don't understand it well. But so you can debate about that when it comes to the Constitution. But then someone says, the earth is the Lord's. Christ is Lord. He's risen. And the Father's will occupy on earth as it is in heaven. And you guys will whatever you will, throwing your frustration on someone else, victimize someone. That's not the Father's will. This shouldn't happen. But then they tell you, who's that God you're talking about? This is our lives. We have our privacy. You should mind your own business, blah, blah, blah. That's how worldly people would be. That's how worldly people are, often in such circumstances. So concepts like privacy, personal space, all of that are all derived from this which concept, free will. It doesn't exist. It's delusion. I'm not finished. The pagan governments of this world, they use certain witch concepts like privacy, which also doesn't exist. They use it to trick you into bondage. But they will never put it in their constitutions, nor in their codified policies that you have free will. The root delusion they will never put in. They may put some side delusions in their policies just to trap you, but the root delusion, free will, they will never put it in, because once they put that in it, all hell breaks loose. But yet, you have believers that keep validating this illusion called free will. You have a will as a human being, and as a human being, you're a conditional being, so certain conditions need to be met for you to function well, so your will can never be unconditional. Your will can never be unchallengeable. Because if you have a will that's self-destructive, people should challenge it for your own safety and for the safety of others. Free will no human being has. Neither should you want such a thing, because you can't handle such a thing as a conditional being. The only being that's unconditional is the Most High Himself. Only He can will for free. And here's the thing. Even He who can will for free considers the creatures who can't even exist outside of Him. So He who's the great I Am, He who's all that, doesn't go out willing just like that. So who are these wicked folks they can will for free? I just explained to which language we are in free will. Why? I explained it to edify you, to inform you, and to educate you. Beware what you agree with. You can't agree with a delusion and not suffer the consequences of that delusion. Be careful what you agree with. That's why I always say, agree with Christ. Be at peace.